Hey guys, the Black Critic Guy. So another November has now come and gone without me making a BCG Disney week. And I'm truly sorry about that. I actually thought there was a chance it would come back this year due to that burst of creative energy I had in August when I was just chucking out video after video after video. I was so proud of myself and how many videos I made in the end of July and in the month of August. I was surprised. You know, I hadn't shot out content like that and that frequently in so many years. It was like refreshing and it was a bit nostalgic. It was great to do videos like that again. And then I just started focusing back in work, in school, and all the things that have been happening in my personal life, my professional life, my own mental state. And just when I knew it, August became September, September became October, and right then and there, November crept up on me and I had no plan. And the last thing I want to do is half-ass a BCG Disney week, especially since it's been such a long time. 4 years since the last BCG Disney week. And I don't want to half-ass the return of BCG Disney week. So I just didn't have it in me to make it. And for that, again, I truly apologize. I apologize to every single one of you who's asked me about it. And I apologize to those of you who have stuck around so long on my channel. By the way, I really love and appreciate that you're still here. Trust me. I know I only pop up in a blue corn moon, but when I see people checking out my videos still, trust me, I always appreciate it. It never goes unnoticed. So thank you for that. And again, I'm sorry we didn't get to do BCG Disney Week. However, I had a spur of the moment idea today, December 1st, 2024. I'm challenging myself and my girlfriend, we're doing it together, to watch one Christmas movie every single day leading up to Christmas. 24 Christmas movies. And then after I finished the first one tonight, I said to myself, hey, why don't I just shoot out my thoughts on these Christmas movies that I'm watching? You know, why don't I do a review of these Christmas movies? And so as a way for me to make up for the lack of a BCG Disney week this year, I have decided to gift you guys with not just a week of BCG videos. How about 3.5 weeks of BCG Disney week, or not BCG Disney week videos, but BCG videos from now until the 25th. How does that sound for a apology? I hope you enjoy it. So yeah, I don't know exactly what I'm going to call this. I've basically thought of just calling it the BCG Countdown to Christmas, you know, as cliche as that sound. Maybe I might think of a better name for it, but as I sit here now, that's the only thing that's going through my head. It's the BCG Countdown to Christmas, where I am watching one Christmas movie every single day leading up to the big day, Christmas. And to start off my marathon to Christmas, my marathon through 24 Christmas films, tonight, me and the girlfriend watched Krampus. Yes, Krampus was the first Christmas movie we decided to watch together. So, what is Krampus? The movie Krampus is about two families that get together to celebrate the holidays, and they're all jerks to each other. In fact, I think they're all just complete assholes, except for one kid and the grandma. Everybody else, complete dickheads, jerks, assholes, or just like apathetic. There's this one character, I wouldn't call her an asshole. She's like the mother of these 5 kids. But she's just so apathetic, she just doesn't seem to really care. So, anywho, they all get together to celebrate the holidays, and at the dinner table, the one good kid gets embarrassed by his cousins as they read aloud his letter to Santa, because he still writes letters to Santa because his grandma convinces him to do so. More on that a little later. But he gets embarrassed because the cousin's reading out loud what he wrote to Santa, and he's just like, you know what, screw this. I hate all of them. I'm just going to rip up this paper. I don't care about my family. I wish they were gone. And he throws the paper out. And unknowingly, by doing that, he has now sealed his family's fate. Because that letter ain't going to Santa. It's going to the shadow of St. Nicholas, Krampus. And now it's just the family trying to survive as Krampus and his buddies, Krampus and his helpers, terrorize this family and basically drag them to hell. Now, I've actually always wanted to see this movie. And it's interesting that I never watched it when it first came out, because it came out in 2015, which was that was like my prime. From 2014 to 2017, I was in my prime when it came to reviewing movies, anime, TV show, what have you. And I know for a fact that I did want to watch it. What deterred me from watching it was I had a good friend, and some of you still may remember him, Michael Wynn Johnson of Real School fame. He's actually doing really good on TikTok, and he does interviews with celebrities. I'm so glad he's still making content. By the way, Michael, if you're watching this video, shout out to you. I watched his Krampus review, and he was underwhelmed immensely by the movie. And if he was underwhelmed by the movie, I always took Real School's opinions on movie to heart. So it just made me go, okay, maybe I can just skip this one for now. But in the back of my mind, I've always wanted to see the movie for myself, to give my own opinion on it. And maybe I actually might like it more so than Real School liked it. And now, 9 years after its release, I have now finally watched Krampus. And what do I think about Krampus? Yeah, I think Real School nailed it on the head. It's a pretty mediocre movie. Now, were there some good things about it? Yes. In fact, a lot of the good things that Michael mentioned in his video, I would also agree. The creature designs, the practical effects are the real standouts of this movie. Like, his helpers looked absolutely terrifying. Like, this is one Jack-in-the-Box creature. My goodness. He was like the coolest looking creature in the entire movie. And he's not even in the movie that long. But my goodness, the way that it moved, the way it opened its jaw, like the way it opens its jaw, unhinging it, like holy shit, that thing was terrifying. There's this teddy bear that also attacks. There's this angel creature thing. The gingerbread guys were not that scary. I actually thought they were kind of whimsically funny, which makes sense. This is kind of a dark comedy, horror movie kind of thing. So they kind of blended quite well with the theme of it being both funny and terrifying, but they weren't that terrifying. Krampus himself was scary as hell. Like, that guy was intimidating. The chains every time he walks, his hoofed feet. I love the fact that Krampus wears a Santa mask. When you actually see him up close and personal, because Krampus is supposed to be like this evil deity. He's basically the devil pretending to be Santa Claus, because he's, the hoof feet, the horns, he has goat eyes. I mean, it screams devil, right? So he's a demon that wears a Santa. He's like a twisted version of Santa Claus, if you will. And that was, I love that detail. The fact that he wears a Santa mask, and it's like his mouth is wide open so his tongue can like slip out and be all creepy. I loved it. That was awesome. The practical effects, the costume design, anything in the arts department I thought was really excellent. And speaking of the arts department, there's this one short animated sequence in the movie. It was phenomenal. Well animated, well drawn. It looked fantastic. I almost wish that was the movie, because it looked better than the actual movie I was watching. Like, I wanted to learn the grammar, so the animated sequence is actually the grandma's backstory. She tells them, hey, I actually know what's happening to us because when I was a young little girl, I lived in this village where everybody didn't have the Christmas spirit, and even my parents didn't have it, and so I said, fuck everybody, I want them all gone, and she ripped up her paper, tossed it out, and what do you know, that's the calling card for Krampus, and he came that night and took her parents away, and I'm just like, well done, well done. I even like the idea of like Krampus leaving one person behind to tell the tale. It sounds like something like a mobster would do. Like he would gun down everybody but leave one guy. He's like, hey, go tell everybody what I did here. You know, I love that. I like that idea of like he leaves one person behind to spread the tale of the Krampus. You better be good. You better leave your cookies out for Santa Claus kind of thing. That animated sequence was phenomenal, really good. I, again, wished it was the movie, because other than that, the rest of the movie just really, it just doesn't stand out. For me, I feel like the movie should have leaned really hard to being darkly funny and terrifying. The thing is, it felt like it was tiptoeing on both. Like, yes, were there scary moments? Sure, but once you actually see when you get the reveal of what the creature looks like, or you get a reveal of what's that terrifying thing in the darkness, it stops being scary. Like the elves, we don't see the elves until much later into the film, and when they pop up, I want to be terrified. They're goofy and whimsical, which makes sense. I mean, they're elves, right? They're supposed to be like jolly creatures, but they're jolly, terrifying creatures. The problem is they still feel too festive to be scary, and that's the problem. The movie doesn't truly. I don't think there was a moment I was absolutely terrified. Like the Jack in the Box creature looked amazing, but did he look scary? Not really. I mean, when he unhinged his jaw, sure, that was scary, but like not scary to the point where I'm like shitting my pants. I'm still kind of like, well, it looks cool, but I'm not scared. And going back to the funny, there are moments I did chuckle, but here's the thing. Some of them I felt like were kind of unintentional. There's a scene where the auntie gets tied up by the elves, and then she just says, I'll see you in hell. And then they pull her, and it makes this, whoosh! Like the sound effects. Look, I loved how his chains sounded when he was like walking and running and chasing that one girl. That sounded cool. And his howl is haunting. But man, there's some I'm laughing right now because I'm remembering all the sound effects I've heard in the movie. Because it's not just that. Like sometimes characters would fall down and they would burn. It makes like they make like these cartoony sound effects. And I can't tell if that was intentional or accidental. I'm leaning on intentional because there's no way they heard those sounds and were like, that's perfect. I think they heard that song and was like, oh, that would be really silly. But the problem is, by putting that sound, it takes away from the weight of the terror and the weight of the scene. Because now I'm not taking it seriously. You know, this family is being terrorized by dark creatures of the night. The shadow of St. Nicholas. I'm supposed to be dreading for their scenario, not laughing in their demise. But yes, I was. And look, I feel as though that's also very much intentional, but you kind of want to root for them, or at least I feel like we should be rooting for them, but the movie doesn't do a good job at really making them any sort of sympathetic, which I guess leads into my next problem with the movie, is that the characters are, and this is going to sound weird, but just roll with me on this. The characters are just unlikably unlikable. What does that mean? Well, look, I believe you can make characters that are intentionally unlikable, but you still kind of root for them or you like them. Like, take Bad Santa. That guy's a complete jerk. He's a terrible person, but we root for him. He's supposed to be unlikable, but there's some likability to him. Take Goodfellas. All of those guys are criminals, assholes, and murderers, and yet I seem to find myself really into Henry Hill's story. I like Henry Hill. I like some of the mobsters that are in the movie, but they're terrible people. They're supposed to be unlikable. Hell, even the most unlikable character, Tommy DeSimone, or whatever his name was, his name was Tommy. He's probably one of the most fascinating characters in the movie, but he's like the most evil character in the movie. And then just take any Quentin Tarantino movie. His movies all revolve around criminals and assholes, and yet a lot of them are likable too. Shoot, take The Hateful Eight. There, Walter Goggins plays a racist sheriff, and I liked the shit out of him. He was great. I loved him, but he's supposed to be unlikable, and he is. He's reprehensible, and that's what I mean by you can make a character unlikable, or they can be intentionally unlikable, but you can still have an aspect of them that's interesting or somewhat understanding or at least cool. Something we can attach on, that we can root for them. There is not a single character in this film, likable or unlikable, and trust me, none of them are truly likable. Even the good characters are not likable. But there's nothing to really attach to with them. They're either extremely cliche, one note, or just blah. The Cousins. They're all one note. They're just complete jerks. They're just complete jerks. That's all there is. There's one character, he just stares at people. Which I think he's supposed to have like some type of mental issue, but it's never truly clear in the film. He just doesn't speak. Like there's a baby, and I feel bad for the baby, but there's nothing interesting about the baby, you know? The mother of the 5 kids, completely apathetic and boring. Her husband, though, played by David Koechner, I believe. He's a great comedic actor, but like, his character is just like very one note. I'm a hardcore conservative, gun-toting, American-loving beer drinker. That's all I got from the character, but he wasn't truly funny, you know. He had funny-ish moments, but he wasn't like super funny. I thought the guy would be a little bit more comical, or maybe even he should have been way more over the top, honestly. I think if he was way more over the top, he would be funnier. Freaking Adam Scott's in the movie, and I almost forgot he was in the movie, because I don't even think he said one funny thing in the movie. Yeah, he said not one funny thing in the movie. This guy is actually a really good comedic actor, and I swear to God, if you gave him something funny, he can make it work. But the script does not do him any service. He's just stoic father figure guy. That's what he was. I can't, honestly, does he have? I really don't think he has a funny line in the movie at all. And his wife, played by Toni Collette, gave the best performance in the movie, but like wasted on a character that's nothing. Completely nothing. So, and then the sister character, don't even get me started. She's the cliche one. Let's go see my boyfriend. Okay, I'm gonna go walk outside in this fucking snowstorm by myself. What did you think was gonna happen? It's a cliche character and a cliche moment of a cliche horror film. It's like a cliche horror trope extravaganza with that character. And then she gets knocked off immediately. We learn nothing about her. We don't know much about her. She's just gone. She's out of the movie now. Yippee. So yeah, the character is completely underwhelming, completely forgettable. And I was going to say too, the main kid. You'd think the kid would be more involved in this story, but after ripping up the paper, he did nothing. He did nothing, honestly. You know what would have been great? If he actually was palling around with his father or palling around with his sister, and then that's when they get taken by Krampus, so that he can witness it firsthand, like Krampus is taking your family from you. That would have been cool. I would have been fine with that. It would give him more to do. Or like he'd be telling them, oh my God, my sister got taken by this big goat thing. And they're all like, and I thought I had too much spiked eggnog. So, something like that. Like, why wasn't he more involved? He just like stayed in the house, grandma coddling him the whole time. Grandma was pretty cool. Okay, I'll say that. Grandma was pretty cool. I wish she did more. Maybe she could have helped more in just telling a vague story about Krampus, maybe she could give some advice like, oh, I noticed he comes through the chimney, like keep the fire warm. That was the one thing she did in the entire film, just like keep the fire going. Okay, what about anything else, Grandma? You don't want to tell us anything else? You've been kind of preparing for this for like 80 years. You mean to tell me now that he's coming back, you have no sort of defense to stop him? You've learned nothing in those years? You just like, well, I'm going to be a good little girl and keep the spirit of Christmas alive. That's it? That's all you got for me, Grandma? What the fuck? Come on, Grandma. You could have done better than that. Yeah, that sucked. Another problem with the film is the third act. Third act was incredibly rushed. I mean incredibly rushed. It felt like they were trying to get to the end and they just kind of were at a stalemate, or they felt like they were just not going fast enough. I'm losing my words here, but basically, I didn't like the pacing of the third act. I didn't like the editing of the third act, the camera work of the third act. Like, they go up to the attic to find these demonic toys that I talked about. The Jack in the Box, the bear, the angel. There's even this one robot thing that attacks them at one point. And, like, maybe it's the way that they were trying to hide some of the strings, or like the stop motion, or the whatever puppetry they were doing with the creatures. Because, like, I swear to you, the camera was like all up close, like, oh my god, oh, we're being attacked, guys. Oh, do you see that? Oh, whoa, do you see? Oh my goodness, all creatures all over. Oh, save me. And, like, it was really exhausting. I was like, what's happening in this scene right now? I can't see shit. The camera's moving too much. You're cutting away from the action too much. I'm getting like, I need to close my eyes. Like, that's a bit much. Can the camera stay still? So yeah, that was awful. And then they just felt like they were rushing to the end. Like, we gotta get to the end, guys. Just get rid of this family right now. Go. We gotta speed run this. And the conclusion, I don't think the conclusion was that bad. I actually think it's kind of fitting for the theme of the movie itself. Although I feel like that there should have still been someone to tell the tale by the end of the film. Let's just say that nobody now tells the tale at the end of the film, which is a little disappointing. It'd be interesting. It could be like kind of like a Jeepers Creepers thing. Like, one of them grows up and they have their own families and stuff and realizes, oh, I've seen this picture before. Keep the fire warm. He's coming tonight. And that's how the movie should have ended. That would have been cool. Like, oh, sequel, or just like, oh, he's ready for round 2 this time. What the grandma should have done after she found out that the Krampus was coming again. Overall, I saw what they were trying to do with Krampus, but like my favorite YouTuber always says, there is a difference between potential and reality. The potential for Krampus to be this excellently done horror comedy was there, but the reality is that it fell very short at being either scary or at least super funny. And it just comes out as being, it's okay. It's a fine movie. If you just go in there just to watch it, I'm sure you'll find something to like about it, but it's really not a memorable experience overall. I probably won't even I wouldn't say if I wanted to watch a Christmas movie, Krampus would be in the top 10 choices I would have to pick. Maybe somewhere in the top 30 if I was that desperate to watch a movie, but I don't think this is a movie I would go back to watch again. I don't think it has a lot of rewatch value, so take with that as you will. And thus ends my first video for my BCG countdown to Christmas. Let me know what you guys thought about Krampus. If you've seen it, did you like it? Did you find it entertaining? Or did you agree with me and found it a little bit underwhelming and just not living up to the expectations? Or did you just outright hate it? It's just a terrible Christmas movie, terrible horror movie. I don't care about it whatsoever. Comment below, let me know. And stay tuned for tomorrow for the next Christmas movie that I'll be reviewing. Till then, guys, I'll see you around. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you like what you see here. Like the video. Come support me as I make my journey all the way to Christmas, watching one Christmas movie a day. And until the next one, guys, I'll see you around. Peace, YouTube!